Hello, I'm Alan Stanley. I'm one of the lay ministers in the Elvick Trinity Benefice. Well, here's a question. How long is it since you made one of these? A paper aeroplane. Would you like to have a go at making one today as one way of connecting with God through today's reflection? I'll show you how to make the simple one that I make with my grandchildren in just a moment or two. When you're making something, it's really helpful if someone shows you what the finished article is supposed to look like, so that you know where you're going. I suppose the pictures in the cookery book could be another example of that. We're quite a fan of Mary Berry's Baking Bible in our house, so there's a picture of Mary's cake that she's made. Even if our own efforts don't quite measure up, at least we know what we're aiming at. And in today's Bible passage, Jesus sets out what we're aiming at, and he gives us a few clues about how to get there. We're aiming to follow him. We're aiming to be followers of Jesus. And like making a cake or a paper aeroplane, we won't be able to just jump from the raw materials, say the eggs, milk and flour for the cake, or my sheet of paper for the aeroplane, or your life and mine, to the finished product in just one go. So as I read the passage, see if you can spot one or two of the steps along the way. I'm going to read from Luke chapter 9 verse 57 to the end. As they were walking along the road, a man said to Jesus, "I will follow you wherever you go." And Jesus replied, "Foxes have dens and birds have nests, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head." He said to another man, "Follow me." But he replied, "Lord, first let me go and bury my father." Jesus said to him, "Let the dead bury their own dead, but you go and proclaim the kingdom of God." Still another said, "I will follow you, Lord, but first let me go back and say goodbye to my family." Jesus replied, "No one who puts a hand to the plough and looks back is fit for service in the kingdom of God." Jesus said to these men, "Follow me." And they said, "Just a moment, let me do something else first." Like I mentioned, we're in the grandparenting exemption sort of thing at the moment with our grandson James, and I'm still taking him to school on a couple of mornings each week. I go round to their place at 7:30. I get him breakfasted, spellings checked, teeth done, dressed, so that we can leave for school about an hour later. And in between all of that, we generally fit in a game of some sort, and we're playing pool at the moment. "James, get your shoes on. I'm just going to gel my hair, Grandad." "James, time to get in the car." "Well, just let me kick this football into the net first, Grandad." But with love and encouragement, we do tend to get to school on time. I don't expect James to be perfect first time, but we are slowly getting there. God does not expect us to be perfect first time, but with his love and encouragement, we will slowly get there. Which brings me to the paper aeroplane. When you finish listening to me, you can take a sheet of paper and you can let it represent your life right now. Now, as I showed you a moment ago, there is one that I made earlier. It's a reasonably good flyer, and when it leaves my hand, I hope it will soar into the air, but it does need to go through a number of stages first to shape it to what it can be. So I'm just going to move the camera in a moment, and as I fold the paper, you may like to ask yourself a few questions about your own life. Just bear with me. So as I start to fold the paper, you may like to ask yourself, where is my life a little flat at the moment? Where does it need some shape putting into it? Am I willing to let God bend and shape me into something that will fly for him? Would you rather stay as you are, just a nice, safe, flat piece of paper? Or would you allow your Creator to gently but firmly shape you into something else? Do you notice that the paper is still the same piece of paper? that I started with. Get rid of that. It's simply being reshaped into something that is able to fly. Something that can be free and escape and fly higher. My paper aeroplane, I'm sure, won't win any aeronautics prizes. It won't set the world on fire. Let's face it, it probably will never ever leave my house. But it will give me, its creator, a great deal of pleasure. Perhaps by letting him shape you, you will give God, your creator, a great deal of pleasure. Let's have a go at moving the camera back and see if it will fly. So, moment of truth, let's see what happens. Yes! Maybe when you allow God to shape your life, you too will begin to experience the freedom that being a follower of Jesus brings.